Trigger warning. Ghosts, ghouls, and gruesome stuff ahead. It's weird. It's dark. It's your kind of vibe. Welcome to Haunted and Homicidal, the podcast where true crime meets the paranormal. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Courtney. Every week we uncover the terrifying, the twisted, and the totally unexplainable. Lock your doors and grab your sage.
Because things are about to get haunted and homicidal. Hey guys.
What's up?
Welcome back. I hope you guys had a fan-fucking-tastic Halloween. I did. It was great. So many candy. So much food. So much family time. My husband had to leave. Because he only gets to come home.
So sad.
I know. He only gets to come home like 4 times a month. It's crazy.
I mean, it's a good little vacation.
Yeah, but like it's just the life of a trucker wife because I barely get to see my husband anymore. I talk to him like every day, a lot. But
that man calls you.
He calls me all the time.
Every fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah, he calls me all the time. But it's okay. He misses me and that's what matters. So
at least you know he ain't cheating.
I never worried about that shit. He knows I'll kill him.
I know.
So, all right. I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it. So this week we're going to be talking about the Doodler.
The Doodler.
He's assumed to be male, but it is an unidentified serial killer believed to be responsible for between 6 and 16 murders.
Okay.
And 3 assaults of men in San Francisco, California between January of 1974 and September of 1975. So the crime spree stretched over about a year and a half. A little over a year and a half. The nickname was given due to the perpetrator's habit of sketching his victims prior to stabbing them to death.
What?
Creepy. So he would just like draw them and then murder them.
So would he leave the sketches?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm about to say, because how would they know he's
That's
drawing them?
The sketches they would find them.
Oh, okay.
The perpetrator met his victims at gay nightclubs, bars, and restaurants.
So he killed gay men?
Yes.
Okay.
Some open, some closeted.
Okay.
Yeah. So at 1:57 a.m. on January 27th of 1974, a corpse was found at the water's edge on San Francisco's Ocean Beach. Gerald Earl Kavanaugh was 49. He was a Canadian-American immigrant and had been stabbed multiple times. Kavanaugh's body was fully clothed and was laying face up. He was determined to have been conscious at the time he was killed and had attempted to resist his killer because he had self-defense wounds. So
okay, he tried
so like
fight.
he wasn't like drowned or anything. He was murdered and then put in the water. I'm guessing they didn't find maybe water in the lungs or anything like that to indicate drowning. So they know like the COD was murder, but they know he was alive during because of the wounds that he sustained due to that. He initially remained unidentified, being temporarily known as John Doe number 7 by the medical examiner. And Kavanaugh, while he was alive, worked as a furniture finisher. Joe J. Stevens, who was 27, he was discovered on June 25th of 1974 by a woman walking along Spreckles Lake in San Francisco. Stephen had died just shortly before his body was found. He had been seen at the club the previous day, so he was murdered and found pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
He was employed as a female impersonator and a comedian, so somebody I probably would have loved to have been around. Officers suspected that Stevens was alive at the time he had been at Spreckles.
Is that another word for like drag queen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, kind of. So normally like a female impersonator would be someone dressing up as a female celebrity rather than just a female.
Okay.
Normally, that's what that normally means.
Okay.
So like someone who would dress up as like Cher or Reba or Dolly or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Officers suspected that Stevens was alive at the time he had been at Spreckles Lake, possibly transporting him to that area, with the killer. So they think that prior to being placed there, he was alive, but they're not sure, like, if he were murdered there or murdered on the way there and was placed. Joe was a born performer, having grown up in the Bay Area suburb in the late 60s. Stevens found joy in wearing flashy clothes and performing musical numbers for his friends and neighbors.
Aww.
I know. Oh, I know. At 19, he moved to San Francisco, where he became a rising star in the city's vibrant drag scene. So, like, again, someone I would have fucking loved to be around.
See a drag show.
I do too. In 1974, just days before an upcoming out-of-town gig in Boston, he went out for a drink at a popular cabaret bar, but he never made it home.
Aww.
Klaus Akim Chrisman, who was 31, he was a German-American immigrant and was discovered by a woman walking her dog on July 7th of 1974. He was found similarly to Gerald Kavanaugh at Ocean Beach in San Francisco. His death had been somewhat more violent than the previous murders, because he had considerably more stab wounds than Stevens and had been slashed in the throat several times.
So apparently he was really mad. The killer was really mad at him.
Not necessarily. It could just be maybe he fought back harder, and so it took more to dispatch him. The body was fully clothed and was in a sprawled position. Chrisman, unlike the previous victims, was married and had children.
Aww.
The fact that he had a quote-unquote makeup tube on his person when he died suggested to police that he may have been a closeted gay man or bisexual, or just a man who liked wearing makeup. We don't make assumptions.
Or he just had it for...
Or maybe it wasn't his, and maybe the killer planted it on him.
Or it could have been his wife's, and he just had it in his pocket.
It could have been anything.
Like, what?
Yeah. He remained unidentified briefly while police were investigating the case, which they had believed were related to the other two murders after this murder. So there was like 3 murders. So they were starting to kind of piece it together like, hey, these might be related. In January of 2022, the San Francisco police identified another victim, 52-year-old Warren Andrews, a lawyer for the U.S. Postal Service, and was found in Land's End on April 27th of 1975. So he was found in 1975, was not identified until 2022, 3 years ago.
What?
Yep. Andrews was found unconscious but never regained consciousness, dying 7 weeks after the attack. Andrews had been severely beaten with a rock and a tree branch.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he was like really, really beaten. Land's End is located just north of Orange Beach, where 4 of the other victims' bodies were found. So similar area.
If he was in the hospital for 7 weeks, how'd they not figure out who he was?
Nobody reported him missing, and he'd never gained consciousness. He was in a coma the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't have ways to fix
Not in the 70s.
Oh.
It was like a missing persons kind of thing. So, maybe nobody reported him missing, or they just didn't check. I don't know how they didn't identify him, but it took until 2022.
Okay.
So, it could be similar to other situations where they're gay. During that time, they weren't going to look into it further.
Okay.
Like streetwalkers or whatever. Frederick Elmer Chapin, 32, was discovered on May 12th of 1975 in San Francisco. He had been stabbed like the other victims, dying from strikes to his aorta. It is believed his body had been moved approximately 20 feet as disturbances in the nearby sand indicated, so it looks like he was dragged.
Oh, okay.
Chapin was identified through fingerprints when these were matched to those taken, quote-unquote, by the state due to his occupation as a nurse. So they identified him because his fingerprints were on file. Because he was a nurse.
Okay, but the other guy's a lawyer, so wouldn't his fingerprints have been?
Not necessarily.
What? Okay.
No, with nurses, they fingerprint, and background lawyers, they really don't.
Okay.
Or at least not then.
Okay.
So, he had also served in the United States Navy, earning medals while serving in the Vietnam War. Harold Goldberg was 66. He was a Swedish-American immigrant who was discovered on June 4th of 1975. In a decomposed state about 2 weeks after his death in Lincoln Park. His remains were slightly inconsistent with the other homicides because he was much older than the others. His underwear had been taken by the killer and his pants were unzipped. So the other ones, like previously mentioned, were fully clothed.
Okay.
Yeah. However, Goldberg is believed to have been the final confirmed victim of the Doodler. While he remained unidentified, he was known as John Doe number 81. At least 3 men escaped the Doodler's attacks, including a foreign diplomat who told police he met his attacker at a late-night diner in San Francisco's Castro district and described him as a tall black man between the ages of 19 and 21. The attacker had been drawing animal figures on a napkin, so that was like one of the things that this particular person noticed, was that not in addition to doodling the victims, he was just like drawing in general. Soon after these murders and the investigation started, a sketch was released and police got a tip with the name of a person of interest and a vehicle license plate. Police questioned a young man as a murder suspect in the case, but could not proceed with criminal charges because the 3 known surviving victims did not want to quote-unquote out themselves by testifying against him in court. So the unknown victim, or the known victims, the ones that escaped, were scared to testify because they didn't want their family or the community knowing that they were gay.
Aww.
Yeah. Among the stabbing survivors were a well-known entertainer and a diplomat, like we discussed earlier. And so that's kind of like one of the reasons why they didn't want to testify, because they were well-known, high-profile kind of people.
Yeah.
The suspect that they went after cooperated with police during his interview, but never admitted guilt to the murders or the attacks. Officers stated that they strongly believed that the man in question was responsible for the crimes, but he was never tried or convicted because of the survivor's refusal to appear in court. So I get it, but also at the same time, not testifying against somebody, he could have...
They still could have got him, couldn't they?
Possibly, but there was no evidence.
Okay.
None. Yeah. Other than witness testimony. But that could have meant that he was still out there murdering people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I understand, especially during that time. To date, the suspect has not been named publicly or apprehended, and very little information is available to the public about the crimes. So there's I couldn't find a whole lot because of that.
Yeah.
After the police interviewed the initial suspect, the killing stopped and the case went cold. So it's very plausible that he was like, "Oh shit, I'm caught," and we're done, right? Okay.
But the fact that he stopped.
Yeah. So many San Franciscans were disappointed, and some blamed the then hostile relationship between law enforcement and the gay community for stymieing the investigation and allowing the killer to remain free, like I just said. Cleve Jones, who is an LGBTQ plus rights activist, told People magazine, quote, "Police departments in every major city had a unit whose sole job it was to track, entrap, and arrest homosexuals. So you had a population of very closeted gay people who had no trust or faith in them whatsoever. You would be in trouble with the law if you talked to the cops." So he's saying, there was a department in the police station that specifically targeted and attacked homosexuals. So the homosexual community, if something happened, didn't trust the police.
Okay.
They wouldn't talk. They couldn't talk because if they talked, they could end up in trouble for something that they had nothing to do with, just for being gay.
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate it so much. It's not... Gay rights are human rights, okay? That's all I have to say. The case is open and ongoing in the San Francisco Police Department. Recent successes using DNA technology developed in the decades since the crimes have led police to re-examine the case, so they're kind of re-looking into it. In February of 2019, police offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the killer and released a revised sketch showing what he could look like after 4 decades. I will post that on Facebook.
Okay.
They later announced they would consider forensic genealogy, which recently identified a suspect in the Golden State Killer murders. So basically what that means, forensic genealogy, is they will test relatives of people who they might be suspected of the murder. They'll test their DNA. If it matches anything, it's likely the guy. So that's how they caught the Golden State Killer murders, because someone stepped forward and was like, "Hey, I think it was they found letters or something in the attic that were kind of suspect," and they're like, this might be the guy. So they're like, "You know what? Let's test your DNA.
Yeah.
Your DNA has very similar markers and matches to the DNA that we collected from the crime scene. So then the likelihood of that person being the murderer is exponentially larger."
Okay.
science is fucking incredible, okay? And at the time of the murders, activist Harvey Milk publicly expressed empathy for the victims who refused to speak with the police, stating, quote, "I understand their position. I respect the pressure society has put on them." Milk elaborated that the three men likely feared damaging their relationship with their family and in the workforce, citing that he believed 20 to 25% of the 85,000 gay men in San Francisco were closeted about their sexuality. So, like I said, I do understand why they didn't speak out. And luckily, the murders did stop. I think maybe if they hadn't stopped, they may have rethought that position. But again, I am going to link, like, the FBI and the San Francisco information. Like, this didn't happen that long ago. People in San Francisco, if you guys have any information or leads or thoughts, again, I will link the sketch of the supposed suspect. So he was not just called the Doodler, he was called the Black Doodler because the 3 that did survive did say he was a tall, skinny black man, 18 or 19 to 21, which would make him like in his 60s now.
Yeah.
Well,
so, no.
70s?
70s? Like, old.
He'd be in about 60s because if he was like 19 and 75.
Yeah, 60s.
Yeah, he'd be in like his 60s, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
And, he may not be living, but we'll link that sketch anyway, just in case you guys want to look at it and be like, oh, that kind of looks like my cousin's friend's boyfriend's uncle's dog walker. And you guys can, talk to the police.
So I have the Servant Girl murders.
Okay.
So the Servant Girl, or also known as the Servant Girl Annihilator, it was also known as the Midnight Assassin, was an unidentified American serial killer who preyed upon the city of Austin, Texas in 1884 and 1885. So there was a series of 8 axe murders who were referred to by contemporary sources as the Servant Girl murders.
Jeez, 8.
8. The victims were servant girls, usually young African-American women who at that time were commonly employed as domestic servants in many Austin households. But a lot of people said that name is something of a misnomer.
Misnomer.
Yeah, since a lot of them were not actually servants, and there was one dude that
gross
one dude that
Ew.
died.
Wait, some of the girls weren't servants, but they were called the Servant Girl murders because they were black. That's what that sounds like.
So they called it Servant Girl murders, but a lot of them are like that shouldn't be the name because a lot of them weren't black.
That's
there
what
was like 2.
Oh, they weren't black.
There was two of the 2 that were murdered. That was the 2 last ones were 2 white girls, and then there was like
not servants,
and there was like 1 guy.
So what?
Yeah, they don't know. That's just what. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think because majority of them, I guess, were servant. I don't know. That's why a lot of people were like that shouldn't be the name, but that's what they gave them. That's what they named it.
Okay. This was in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Okay, they were not creative in the 1800s, so I'll give
No.
them that.
No. So December 26th, 1885, issue of the New York Times reported that the quote murders were committed by some cunning madman who was insane on the subject of killing women.
But a guy died?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
And so it represent an early example of a serial killer operating in the U.S. 3 years before the Jack the Ripper murders in Whitechapel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this happened 3 years before Jack the Ripper.
One of my favorite stories. Okay.
According to author Philip Sugden in The Complete History of Jack the Ripper, they conjectured that the Texas killer and Jack the Ripper were one and the same man originated in October 1888 when an editor with the Atlanta Constitution suggested the idea following the murders of Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes by Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
They tried to say that it was one and the same.
They tried to say a lot of them were one and the same. Like, my favorite theory is Jack the Ripper was H.H. Holmes. My favorite theory that I think is probably right, just based on where H.H. Holmes was during that time. Guess where he was? He was in England. He wasn't here. He was in England. There's a ship ledger showing that he was in England during that time.
Oh. Okay.
We're gonna get really into that.
Alright. The murders. Murder. So the killer murdered 7 women, 5 black, 2 white, and 1 black man.
Jeez.
Also injured 6 women and 2 men.
Jesus.
Yes.
So he killed 8 and injured 7 more.
8 more.
8 more. So 16 people total.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Fucking psycho.
So victims were attacked in their beds as they slept, struck in the head with an axe, and then carried into the yard where they were raped and mutilated.
What the fuck?
Yep.
The man too?
I guess it just.
Oh my God.
It said victim, so I'm guessing the men too.
No.
And the axe used by the perpetrator was left behind at the scene of the murder. And also left behind were the bare footprints of the perpetrator, who forfeited his boots to enable his stealthy entrances and exits.
No. That. Ew. Oh God. No. I don't like this at all.
So during the investigations, they had carefully noted the footprints, which were often bloodstained and had made distinct impressions in the soil as the perpetrator carried the weight of the victim. And apart from general measurements of size and shape, footprints in most instances are not especially distinctive, and they would not have been much use to authorities had they not possessed some unusual feature.
Oh, Lord.
So the footprints left behind shared a distinct feature. One of the footprints had only 4 toes.
So it really shouldn't have been that hard to find this person. And I think the only thing that would, like, distinctively come from a footprint would be, like, the size. You know, because, like, between a certain size, you would think female, and then between a certain size, you would think a male. And I think that really would be the only thing that they could discern.
So I think they like, knew it was a dude.
By the size. And then he only had 4 toes. On both feet or just one foot? One foot. That really shouldn't be that fucking hard to find. I would go everywhere. Take off your fucking shoes. Let me see your piggies. Okay, well, I wouldn't because I don't like feet. Yeah. You can do that.
I don't like feet, bitch.
No, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
You can do it.
I ain't doing it.
You have to do it.
No, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, I already claimed immunity.
No. No. So,
like, can I see your toes? Oh, Mischa.
It was
honey.
It was your mom, Mischa.
I was kidding. No woo-woo. Nobody's here.
Mischa.
Come here.
So
let me see your toes. Mischa. Come here, baby. Let me see your toes.
Give her a chip.
Come here.
Distract her with a chip.
Come here.
Want a bite?
Oh, she said, fuck yeah, dude. Come here.
She said, give me a bite. So
let me see your toes.
So they did not share the facts of the 4 toes with press or the general public.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart because you don't want to give away, like, your biggest fucking piece of evidence.
Exactly.
Because then that guy could, like, go home, find a flesh-colored candle, and make a pretend toe.
Mm-hmm. So the 2 white girls that got murdered, were Ula Phillips and Susan Hancock.
Okay. They sound like white girl names.
Yes. So they arrested both husbands.
Oh, they were married.
Yeah. So the last 2. So those 2 girls were married.
Yeah.
So they had both been murdered on December 24th, 1885. And both husbands were subsequently charged with murdering their wives.
Okay.
So May 1886, during the trial of James Phillips. What?
I have a problem with this.
Yes.
Yes, I have a problem with this. Why do they arrest the husbands when there were 6 murders prior to that? They were all the same. These murders match those 6 murders. Why? I guess, was it just to appease the community and say, oh, we got the money?
I guess. And I guess because they were the last ones. I don't know.
I don't like it.
So May 1886.
Oh, ew, I licked it.
Why would you lick it?
Because I went, and my tongue touched it.
During the trial of James Phillips, defense attorneys introduced into evidence floorboards marked the bloody footprints that had been removed from the Phillips house after the murder.
With the 4 toes?
With 4 toes.
Okay.
So they were compared to the footprints of the defendant who removed his shoes.
And had 5 toes.
And had his feet inked imprinted in an elaborate demonstration in the courtroom. Even though Phillips' footprints were substantially different in size than the bloody footprints on the floorboards, the jury was unconvinced.
What in the actual fuck is going on? What the helle?
The motives of jealousy and drunkenness, as argued by the prosecution, convinced the jury, and they found Phillips guilty of second-degree murder.
What the hell, Beyonce?
Yes.
Bruh. Okay,
Yes.
so, like, these situations right here is why death penalty appeals exist.
Yes.
This is why. Because he probably got life in prison or a death sentence or something, right?
They just found him guilty anyway.
So probably death sentence, and this is why even if the not the elephant, we're not talking about elephants. Even if the evidence, even if the evidence like completely and entirely contradicts everything that the prosecution is saying, the jury found him guilty.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna like my next week's story either.
Oh no, bullshit. But yeah, that's why death sentence appeals exist. That way the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals can review the information and see if the sentence matches the crime. In this situation, I would fucking hope if it happened like in today's time, the jury wouldn't be stupid enough to convict that.
Because like, you can clearly see the man does not have four toes, and his feet do not match what was left on the fucking floorboard.
Like, your smoking gun evidence does not match. How are you convicting this man?
Exactly.
But that's why that exists, because if he was sentenced to death, but that's why, because this shit happens, and today I would hope that the jury would not do that, but if they did, it would go to the appeals court, and then the appeals court would be like,
the fuck?
Did we hire Gary Ridgway with an 80 IQ? What is happening right now?
Yes. So Moses Hancock was finally brought to trial. He received some substantial legal help in the form of pro bono representation by John Hancock, no relation to former U.S. Congressman.
And they made sure to put that. They made sure they put that distinction.
He is not related.
Not related to John Hancock, okay?
No. A front page article in the New York Times of December 26, 1885. 400 men were arrested during the course of the year.
Jeez.
Texas Monthly, powerful elected officials refused to believe that one man or one group of men was responsible for all the murders.
Okay.
African American community and some practitioners of voodoo believe that the killer was a white man who had magic powers that enabled him to become invisible.
I was with you until the magic power part. I was there. I was shaking my head in vehement agreement until superpowers and magic.
Because no dogs outside or in fenced yards adjacent to locations where murders occurred were heard to bark or raise an alarm.
Okay.
So the victims. Molly Smith, who was 25, was murdered the night of December 30th, 1884. Walter Spencer was seriously wounded that same night.
Okay, and that was the one man.
Yes.
The wounded man, not the dead man.
Yeah, not the dead one.
Okay.
He was the wounded one.
He was just the attacked one.
Yes.
Were they same night but not same place? Like he wasn't like trying to step in and help her or anything like that? Okay.
No. And then Clara Strand and Christine Martinson, two Swedish servant girls, were seriously wounded the night of March 19th, 1885.
Okay.
Eliza Shelley was murdered the night of May 6th, 1885. Irene Cross was murdered by a man with a knife on the night of May 22nd, 1885.
Okay.
Clara Dick was seriously wounded in August 1885.
Okay.
Mara Ramey, who was 11, was murdered the night of August 30th, 1885, and her mother Rebecca was seriously wounded.
11, just a baby.
So this one's the guy.
Okay.
Gracie Vance and her boyfriend Orange Washington were murdered on the night of September 28th, 1885.
Orange?
Yes. His name was Orange.
Like the fruit.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you said Oren, which would have made more sense, but orange is okay too, I guess.
Yeah. And then Susan Hancock and Eula Phillips were murdered the night of December 24th, 1885. All right. Eyewitness accounts.
Okay.
So, July 2000 article in the Texas Monthly. Eyewitnesses claimed to have seen the murderer, but reported contradictory info to the police.
July of 2000?
Yes.
200 years later?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm confused,
Yeah,
but okay.
I know.
maybe those people didn't only have invisibility cloaks, they could time travel.
Apparently. Killer was variously reported to have been white or dark complexioned or a yellow man wearing lamp black, which means it's produced by collecting soot from oil lamps and then rubbing it on your face to conceal his skin color.
Okay.
Yes. Or a man wearing a Mother Hubbard style dress.
What?
So the long, just
I know what a Mother Hubbard dress is, but
Yep. Or a man wearing a slouch hat, which is a wide brim felt or cloth hat, mostly common worn as part of a military uniform.
So they had no fucking clue.
Nope. Or a man wearing a hat and a white rag that covered the lower part of his face. Also reports that the killer worked with an accomplice or belonged to a gang of murderers.
Okay. Four-toed murderers.
Now this man that I'm about to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Did he have 4 toes? Okay, cool. We got him. I found him. I solved the murderer.
Nathan Elgin.
Motherfucker. That's a guy. He did it. I already know he has 4 toes. He's a sloth.
July 15th, 2014, the PBS TV show History Detectives aired an episode on the killings.
Mm-hmm.
They used a combination of historical research and modern techniques, including psychological and geographic profiling.
Yeah. They
identified a suspect.
In 2014, so this man is long dead.
Nathan Elgin, a 19-year-old African-American cook. He worked in close proximity to the crime scenes and was missing his little toe.
I don't want to believe it was him.
Which was similar to the footprint believed to be left by the killer.
So how in 2014 did they figure out this dude had a missing toe? Okay.
February 1886, shortly after the last murder, and because they stopped.
Okay.
After this. He was shot and killed by police while he was attempting to assault a girl with a knife.
It was Nathan. 4-toed sloth Nathan.
A drunken, raging man had dragged a girl from the salon to a nearby house where he could be heard beating and cursing her while she screamed for help.
Jesus.
Police officer John Bracken arrived on the scene, and the saloon keeper Dick Rogers and a neighbor, Clabe Hawkins, went with Bracken to stop the man from beating the girl to death. Rogers and Hawkins went into the house and pulled the man away from the girl into the front yard.
Okay.
And as Rogers and Hawkins grappled with the man, Officer Bracken got out the handcuffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
The man would not be subdued. He threw off Rogers and Hawkins.
No.
He said no. He threw off Rogers and Hawkins and knocked Bracken off his feet. The man turned on them and brandished a knife.
He said, "Hulk angry."
As Bracken tried to recover, a shot rang out. Bracken drew his pistol and fired. The shot brought down the raging man.
Okay.
And so the girl was named Julia. They figured out her name. But there was no explanation of why he was so mad at her.
Probably because he hit on her in a bar, bought her a drink, expected something in return, and she said no.
Yes.
Like, that shit can be figured out, dated back to the beginning of fucking time. A man does something nice for you, quote unquote, but has the expectation, and then the second you say no, he flips the fuck out and turns into Hulk angry.
Hulk angry. So Bracken's shot did not kill Elgin, but left him paralyzed and mortally wounded, and he died the following day. Okay. And when they did an autopsy, they noticed he was missing a toe from his right foot.
Okay.
All right.
So they didn't connect it then?
No, because what I was meant to put after this that I was apparently read earlier.
Okay.
So Sheriff Malcolm Hornsby also provided assistance for the defense rather than the prosecution. He described making a cast of Elgin's foot after his death, the significance of the missing toe, the similarities between Elgin's footprints and the footprints left at the Phillips and Ramey murders, and the fact that there had been no further servant girl murders committed since his death. The jury was not completely persuaded, and after 2 days of deliberation, a hung jury was declared and the case was discharged without a verdict.
That's good, though. That's good.
Yes.
I mean, a hung jury still sucks because, but it's good that he was not convicted. So what, did they go back and, exonerate the first guy?
It never said if they did or not.
Probably not.
But probably not, because they still thought he did it since he was apparently abusive and shit.
Oh, well, I mean, if he was abusive, then even if he didn't kill her, yeah, keep his fucking ass in jail. That way he can't abuse another female. But also, the fuck?
Mm-hmm. And because they didn't know that it was that dude.
Yeah.
Contemporary newspapers reported that the murderers had apparently fled the area since there was no more murders.
Incorrect.
So that's it on the Servant Girl murder. So.
Well, so I mean, there's kind of an ending, a day late and dollar short, but an ending nonetheless. It was Nathan.
Mm-hmm. It was Nathan.
Like, I'm convinced. But I'm still like real confused on how they were still able to sentence that guy, especially after finding this out. You know, I don't know. I don't know. That's fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely wild. So sorry, this week is so short. You know, the unidentified ones are kind of short because you don't really, there's not like a whole lot of information on them. Especially mine, because it's an open case still. It's an open and active case. So they're not going to have a whole lot of information. So I found what I could. She found what she could. They were still interesting. Like, I've never heard of either of these. And for one to be still open and active, you know.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's like a regional thing. Like, because I'm nowhere near California, so I haven't heard about it. You know, so I don't know. But again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for the support. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/haunted and homicidal. Patreon, as always, you can sign up for the tiers. We have goodies.
We have free shit.
Patreon.com/haunted and homicidal. And then if you guys have any like these obscure, lesser known murders that are kind of interesting, whether or not there's a lot of information, you know, we want to know. If you guys have your own stories, paranormal or otherwise, you can email them to us. hauntedandhomicidal@gmail.com. Again, sorry this one was so short. But it is what it is. Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.